Punters, g'day. Welcome to Victims of the Punt, the Rosehill preview show. We'll tackle the quaddie legs as per usual. It's also great to be joined once again by Mark Shean and Mark Rhoden. Mark Shean, I'll start with you. Just run us through what the track's looking like there at Rosehill for Saturday.
We've got a clear day at the moment. There is a little bit of coastal rain predicted tomorrow, but it may not reach Rosehill, so fingers crossed there. But if it does, they're saying maybe only a few mils, so probably still be in that 7 to 8 range, we would think.
Okay, Mark Rhoden, welcome. Do you have any sort of expected track pattern at this early stage for the rails 7 metres?
Yeah, 7's about as far as it gets at Saturday meetings anyway. So you'd say on pace. Depending on how soft the track actually is, they might get off the fence in the straight, but I expect the inside to be fine and run. And yeah, with the rail 7, I'd rather be lanes 1 to 2 than swooping.
Okay. I think they've only had that 7 metre rail on maybe 1 or 2 occasions.
Yeah.
I can remember a meeting about 3 years ago. Track played pretty fair that day. It was midweek though, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's been a couple of 6s on soft ground, which have. It's as you'd expect with a 6 metre rail, especially out of the chute. You don't want to be too far back.
No.
Okay, well, let's start off with race 6. It's a benchmark 78 over 1,300 metres. In terms of the market, Tycoonist is favoured at $2.90. It must be pointed out that Papal Warrior is $6 and it's the second emergency at this stage, so market still might change a little bit. Smart Image $8.50, Count de Rupee around the same quote, so is Royal Banquet and Taxu, so it's a pretty even market and obviously still a bit to play out. Mark Shean, do you have any early thoughts at this stage to kick off the quaddie?
Well, he does look hard to beat Tycoonist. I don't know if $2.90 is the right price, but he hasn't had a lot of luck this time. He's been getting a long way back and has had a checkered passage. He comes up with McDonald from barrier number 2. So I think he'll probably get the money, I'd say. I've missed the boat there with the early price, but he does look like he'll get a nice run, a lot closer than the run than he has been at his last couple of starts, and McDonald is riding very well at the moment. So he looks the one to beat to me.
Certainly does. In terms of Mark Rhoden, we've talked about this a few times, the jockey and trainer combination. I'm just having a look now. Last 100 starts, 29 wins, running at 28% pot.
That's Waller McDonald.
Yeah.
Amazing. And we identified yesterday the J McDonald on jockey switches. Well, it's last 6 months, it's plus 23% pot, just an official SP. Lined level stakes at SP, J McDonald jockey change. You would think the market would be onto that, but it's not. Having said that, I think the market's pretty much onto this one. I'm the same as Mark, had no luck last start, gets McDonald on, surely close in the run from gate 2. But yeah, 290 is very best now, 270 looks general, and I'd struggle to take 270 to be honest, although I'd like to get on him if I could. I do think Smart Image will run a race again. He found the line very well. He got a good run through that day, found behind Mark Newnham's horse, Shadow, one of the Shadows. And he looks like getting a similar soft run here. I think Tycoonist is a shade of unders at 270, and I think Smart Image is a shade of overs at 850. But that said, I do expect Tycoonist to be very hard to beat. But yeah, maybe a small value bet on Smart Image if he stays around that price. But as I said, the favourite, the one to beat.
Okay, that takes us to race 7 on the card, which is over 2,000 metres, the WJ McKell Cup listed race. So You Win has gone to Queensland, so he's been scratched. In terms of the market, Stockman $4.60, Parry Sound $5. You've got Yonkers and Approach Discreet and Wu Gok all between $6 and $7, and then the Lord Mayor at $9.50. So again, pretty open race this in terms of the Friday morning market. Mark Shean, any thoughts here in the Cup?
Yeah, we've got a few horses coming back from 24 to the 2000. So we've got Stockman, who didn't have much luck behind Knight's Order. So that does look a good form line, of course, with Knight's Order winning the Brisbane Cup so impressively. But, it's his 4th run in 5 weeks and he's got to come back in distance. So I've been on him a few times and done my money. So I don't know if I could butter up again. I think it's a tricky race. I think Approach Discreet might be a bit of value in the race. Stepping up in distance, does like the sting out of the ground, has won at Rosehill, so might be looking for further, but just at the price and the fact that a few of these are back in trip, I'm going his way with not a lot of confidence, and Brutality is another one that has been pinching my pocket of late, but he goes up to 2,000 metres for the first time. Whether he can run that, I don't know, but he was grinding away last week, and maybe he's been looking for the extra trip. As I said, Stockman been going around and round. Luckless last start. Obviously got a good chance again, but whether you'd want to butter up at that price.
Mark Rhoden, do you want to?
On Stockman, no, don't like the jockey change on him either. He might be pretty dizzy by now. He's had a stack of racing. He's got some big figures this prep, to be honest, but he may struggle to repeat them again tomorrow. I'm going around that Parry Sound as well. Similar reasons. They've crossed paths a couple of times now. I think the winner might come from outside of those two. Lord Mayor with the golden jockey switch, Joe McDonald on. Certainly competitive on his best. Some of his best figures have been returned when McDonald's ridden him in the past. So I thought at 9.50-ish he was value. Drawn awkwardly, but we'll leave it up to him. That gate and map might not be so much of an issue over 2,000 metres as it is in some of the shorter races. So I'll just leave it up to J Mac to find the right path home. Approach discreet. Any more rain for him would be a huge plus. He's in the race. And yeah, I did like Brutality as well. I thought they might roll forward from the gate on it. And if it runs the trip, it's a chance at double figure odds with no weight. I'll be looking to back the Lord Mayor, get on approach discreet if I can, and maybe Brutality as well. But yeah, playing around that Parry Sound Stockman form. Oh, see, we're Gox in the market. It'll lead, but yeah, certainly a wet tracker. If the track's playing mad on pace, he can. I suppose he can win, but I think the price he is at the moment seems to be factoring in mad on pace. So I don't think it should be that short on a fairer track.
Okay. Race 8, Fillies and Mares race, benchmark 78 over 1,300 metres. Catlin is favourite at best available, $2.30 from Bellucci Babe at 6. Expat is still in the market, but it's third emergency. There's only been the one scratching so far. It's $9, and then you've got Rock My Wand at 10. Everything else is basically double that. Mark Shean, back or lay for the favourite here?
Oh, no, back for me. She paraded a bit above herself, actually, when she won at Randwick on the Kensington. One with a leg in the air there. I can only see her going forward. She showed a great deal of promise early on. Pretty poor ride in one race there at Melbourne, and then badly injured in the next run. So hasn't got too many failures to her name. And as I said, I think she still had improvement from that run. First up, after a very long spell, Bellucci Babe's a query at 1,300 metres. Sarah, probably a little bit in the same boat to me. Good wet tracker, but both of them just a slight question mark at the trip. Expat, if it gets a run, will probably be turned loose to try and get across and get the lead on its own. But we'll just have to see with the scratchings. But I think Catlin's the one to beat.
Okay, Mark Rhoden, are you doing anything with this race?
I've marked her 220, so she's around my price, but I don't have anything else under double figure odds, to be honest. I've got her that far clear, so I'd certainly like to be on her. She fractured her pelvis in that race in Melbourne, and she's had a long break, but it's done her no harm at all. That sort of half put me off taking a short price first up. I've always had an opinion of her, but, she's certainly fully recovered, if that's any evidence. She's going places these aren't really. A couple in my black book in this race, the Bellucci Babe being one and Starla another, but Bellucci Babe's never run past 1,100 and it's up to 1,300. She's been ridden a little differently at her last two rather than on speed. They've been riding it quieter and it's been working. But at 1,100 metres, 1,300 is new territory. Don't really want to back her to beat a horse like Catalan at her first go at this trip. And Starla, I mean, she can always run good sectionals. She's got a good jockey on, but she just maps badly all the time. The one flicker of hope she'll have, she's drawn wide. A couple of times she's drawn wide and they've just missed the start on and gone straight to the rail. That would be her chance of winning or getting close to Catlin, I think. If she's back and three wide, you can forget. But Catlin seems to have a bit of an edge on these.
Yep. No pressure on J-Mac. He's won 34 of his last 100. Striking, or his profit on turnover, was 43% in that time. So it's just staggering. You're not going to get too much of a price on this horse, obviously, but whether or not it's value, it sounds like it's just speaking to you both that it probably is. But anyway, that takes us to the last race 9, benchmark 78 over 1,500 metres. Waireri Falls, $4.80, best available. Steely You can get $7 at one joint. That's with the emergency still in play. Oscar Zulu, $5.50. Papal Warrior, again another emergency, is $8.50. Criminal Code $9.50, and everything else is out from there. Mark, Shean, anything there in the last?
Well, I think a track pattern's going to be important by the later races. Werribee Falls did race a lot closer than last start when they did go a little bit slower than probably average, and didn't have a great deal of luck in the early part of the straight. I think if you can position up in a similar spot from barrier number 3, had that run at the 1500 last start, and I think that'd probably stand in good stead. Oscar Zulu, I'm not totally convinced about him at the trip. He did win impressively the other day. Maybe he did switch off late in that race, but I've got a slight question mark, even though he's been placed at 1550, but he was soundly beaten by Marcinet that day. Criminal Code's got a bad alley, have to go right back. Badouche will go right back. I thought Accountability ran okay first up, probably looking for further. So where Werribee Falls from that soft draw certainly gets a tick from me.
Okay. Mark Rhoden, anything for yourself here in the last?
I thought there was a lot of chances. If I do anything, I might just take I tipped Criminal Code last week and they scratched it. I think it was either last week or the week before. They might scratch it again from this gate, but if they run, I think, as I mentioned when it was in last time, ran an incredible section last time, coming up the fence, admittedly. This will be a different setup. But it's Louise Day to James McDonald. Look, he's not going to ride a winner tomorrow after how I've been going on about him here, is he? He's got no chance. But it's, huge jockey change and $9. I think all the others in the market are found about right. I had Warrior Rolls slightly on top, but bigger than its current price. Same story Oscar Zulu, same story Steely, same story Papal Warrior if it gets a run. So, not a race I'll be attempting to break the bank on, but I could just play the system and have a small spec on Criminal Code.
Okay, very good. That brings us to the end of the quaddie. I'll just touch on race 1 just shortly, or just briefly, because Mark Rhoden, you sent a bet yesterday for Royal Zell, and it does figure with a lot of the pattern of today. It's Kathy O'Hara to James McDonald. Just run us through your thoughts, and then I'll get your thoughts straight afterwards, Mark Shean.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it was much of a race, to be honest. Royal Zell was a very well-backed favourite in a similar, or perhaps, in a similar race to this last time out, 100 pre-friends second in that race. Royal Zell was dragged back by Kathy O'Hara that day, not really put in the race. Didn't set the world on fire late or anything, but its previous win at Kemble was quite good. And just on SP profile, I thought it was in the race anyway. And with the big jockey change, I thought the $7.50, $8 they put up was just too big, so I just wanted a bit of that. Not a good thing by any means, and it's going to depend on riding instructions. If he's told to just drag it straight back again, he's drawn the second outside barrier, it could be in strife again. But if he shows a bit of initiative and gets it in somewhere, I think it's a very, very winnable race for it.
Yep.
The one I thought that would run well and could see myself backing as well is Deficit on a quick backup from Hawkesbury on Sunday, and will be on speed with Nashville on. So another good jockey change there.
Okay. Mark Shean, did you have any thoughts here in the opener?
I backed Royal Zell at good price their last start when it was off the map, and I don't know if I got into the wrong lane in the straight. I thought it was going to win there at the top of the straight. Blinkers on and McDonald on, so I can see Mark's reasoning there. I think it's an open race to me, the first. I backed the Beck at Eagle Farm the other day and thought it was going to piss in at the top of the straight, and they couldn't get past Volcanic Rock. I actually thought 7 and 8 had chances here. Armour Force ran second over 1,500 metres at Goulburn last start to California Sky, who's come out and bowled it in since, and he was jumping from 12 to 15 there. And I can't see a lot of speed here, so I thought he might roll forward. And I thought My Snow Queen was in a very strong race last week. Admittedly got to jump sharply in distance, but I think there were 4 last start winners in that race, so pretty open affair the first. You'd want to get a feel of the track, though, and you're obviously not going to do that. You're betting a little bit blind. So 7 from 8 for me in the first, but it's a tricky race.
Okay. All right, I'll get your best value. Any lay bets you're having on the card? Mark Shean, your thoughts?
I thought Nicole Beagle in race number 5. I was very impressed with its trial before it won first up, and then it was won impressively there. I don't think the wet track's going to harm it. It's won easily at Nowra on a wet track there. My map has it in a pretty good spot in the run, so I thought it'd be hard to beat, but it's a tough winter meeting. That's the best for me.
Okay. Mark Rhoden, do you have a best on the card?
I've got Nicole Beagle on top as well. I think it's a great chance. My best is probably Lakeen in race 4. Run space, no problem for this horse. Had 35 odd days off again. But did that before its last start, where it beat all but Achiever, who then went on to run really well in the Queensland Derby. Just a foolproof sort of on-pace horse I like to back. He'll be right in the firing line all the way, probably sitting off Monsieur Sissou or Vigorous Flow or one of those, but he'll be top 3 all the way. And if he runs up to last start, he'll be hard to get past. No compromise, dropping back from 2400. Joe McDonald on, the one to beat, but drawn wide probably will be standing up a start. So happy to be with Lakeen in race 4.
What do you think of Monsieur Sissou in that race, Mark? I thought just got attacked a long way from home the other day.
Yeah, I think Lakeen won't be letting it out of its sight. And I think they won't ride Vigorous Flow aggressively. I suppose Maid of All coming out is a little tick for Monsieur Sissou. It might have been a test. I've got it around the same price as the market, to be honest. But I think Lakeen's just got a little bit of figures on it.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you to you both. All the best on the punt this weekend. We'll catch up next week to preview next Saturday's meeting.
See you, boys.
All right, see ya.